for me, things over months, I'm like, oh, that story was just one punchline. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, it's just a mini joke.
That's why, I guess for me, that's why I go on stage to find those beats.
Right.
You write everything down, and that's not stage. That's not what you'd be doing on stand-up, or that's not my goal. So that's why you go on stage, is to find those beats to see how it sounds. And you sound stupid.
Yeah, you sound stupid
every
in the
time.
beginning.
And it's, yeah.
Today, we talk about, so basically the way I think to start it is again, the crazy premise. It's like, have you ever gone to get a haircut and you find yourself scared shitless you're going to get busted for drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea.
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, what do you mean?
Explain.
Now you got me asking the question.
Yeah,
what do you
right.
mean?
So now I hook him in, and this is all a true story. So I had a barber who was cutting my hair, and I can't ever find a barber that can cut my hair. Finally, I find this motherfucker that can cut my hair. And 2 cuts in, he hits me up. He goes, "Hey man, can I borrow like $80? My car got towed. I gotta, get it out."
Is it true story?
I don't have my license. I don't have anything. And I'm like, all right, well now I'm in an awkward position because I don't want to say no to the one guy that can actually fucking cut my hair. I don't want to sour this relationship. Yeah. So I give him the money, and I show up to give him the money. And he goes, "Oh, actually, I need another $60." And I'm like, "Well,
dude,
I guess I'll just be a retard and give it to you." So I,
You did.
so I gave it.
It's supposed to be a good ass haircut,
Yeah.
dude.
So now, some time goes by, and I'm just not hearing from this guy. I'm just like, "So I guess you're not going to pay me back." He's like, "Yeah, sorry, man, I can't."
He said he replied.
Yeah, of course. So then I'm like, you know what? Well, fuck that. We're just gonna have a system set up where I come in for free haircuts and we pay this off over time.
That's great.
Yeah, and but it was like an awkward situation now because it's like usually the loan shark is the one pointing the sharp objects at your head, right? It's not the barber that you owe money to, or that owes you money. So that's kind of like
he could kill you if he wanted.
Yeah, that's kind of like I guess it's not a tag, but it's like a punchier part of the story.
Yeah.
And then let's see, the other real part of the story is that so a couple more haircuts into this deal we got going in, he goes, "Hey man, can you after we were done, he's like, "Yo, could you mind dropping me off at this spot? It's like on your way back." It's never on your fucking way back. Right? so this guy's charming, and he's a charming, nice motherfucker. And he's just asking me questions. He's just being super nice, and we're just having a good conversation. Next thing I know, we're in the fucking projects. We're like way past where I was supposed to take this guy. And instead of dropping him off there, he just goes, "Hey, just wait right here. I'll be back." And then he goes into this dilapidated spot. I didn't even think to ask him, like, what the fuck is he doing? And I'm just sitting there, and like 5-10 minutes goes by, and I'm just like, am I at a fucking drug deal right now? Like, am I the getaway car? Like, I think that's the other line I was toying with. Like, have you ever gone to get a haircut and find yourself being the getaway car? I was debating that one too. But yeah, so eventually I got pissed. I was like, "Dude, where the fuck are you? Let's get out of here." He's, "Oh yeah, sorry, man." And then I think he's just one of those like innocent, ignorant kind of guys. It's like he means well. He wasn't trying to pull a fast one on me. He just doesn't think of consequences. Like, "Oh, if I borrow money, I have to pay it back." Oh, this guy is,
probably on some drugs then.
Probably.
So get some cloud in the brain.
Exactly. Yeah. So then he comes back out, and then of course he goes, "Yeah, do you mind just dropping me back off at the barbershop?"
Oh my god!
No way.
So I was like, "Nope, I got shit to do, man. I'm dropping you off at this gas station. You're gonna figure it out," and that's what I did.
Nice, good for you.
So
Stepping up.
So that's the story.
Does he still cut your hair?
What?
Does he still cut your?
No.
Yeah,
this was all back upstate. So, and actually, I kept going back to him for more cuts, and I think we were one away from being all paid up. 1 or 2, and then I just stopped hearing from him. But like the very next day, I moved out here. So it was whatever.
Jeez.
Wow.
So that's the story.
What's his Instagram?
Yeah. I don't think he even has one.
Dude, I think there's a lot of angles you can take that. I think what was really funny is he kept asking you to do stuff, and you're just like, yeah.
Like, I'm a retard.
I mean, what you would do for a good haircut.
Yeah. So
it's like,
It's funny you said literally that because I told this story to the next barber I finally met out in Iowa.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him this whole story. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm thinking about making this into a bit." He's like, "Yeah, I mean, you could end it off with, anything for a haircut." So like that was his idea. I was like, "Oh, it's actually not bad."
I think one thing is interesting too because I don't think women think guys stress about. Like I got a haircut yesterday, and I went in. I told this guy one thing, and then I said, "Hey, I just want this." And then halfway through, he goes, "You wanted this, right?" And I was like, "Those are the exact opposite things." Like, let's say I just wanted, I just came in for a low taper, and then he just cut the whole hair, and he was like, "You want your whole head?" And I was like, "Wait, no, I just said this.
Right.
And he was like, well, I already started. And I was like, son of a bitch. All right, we'll cut the whole thing. But guys, I think it'd be cool for women to hear like the little struggles guys have with haircuts. Because I think women are the ones that are known.
Honestly,
to
I think women need to hear guys' struggles more.
yeah, I mean,
I really
more
do
like
think
it. Women don't know what we go through.
Yeah, right.
It's a hard life out there. You know?
That could be something, but yeah, I'm just trying to like, the way someone described it to me was like you find the beats in the story.
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to Bill Batiste about this. Yeah. What was his line? I think he was the one that gave me the line of you ever go to get a haircut and you find yourself in the middle of a drug bust or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, finding the beats and then like sprinkling in the funny stuff in between, like that's something I want to get better at. I don't know if you guys like use that strategy.
Yeah, that's one thing is being clear on what you want the joke to be. I think is something that I'm trying to like. Whether I want to if my story, am I painting a picture? And if I'm painting a picture, that means I have to have beats to keep people interested.
Right.
Or whether it's just
metaphors and
if it's if I'm Mark Normand up there, or if I'm Louis C.K. trying to, or if I'm Patrice trying to get people to see a side of a thing that seems crazy, or blah blah blah. I mean, I'm not any of those people, but just having like, oh, this joke will be a story or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. But for me, things over months, I'm like, oh, that story was just one punchline. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, it's just a mini joke.
That's why, I guess for me, that's why I go on stage to find those beats.
Right.
You write everything down, and that's not staged. That's not what you'd be doing on stand-up, or that's not my goal. So that's why you go on stage, is to find those beats to see how it sounds. And you sound stupid.
Yeah, you sound stupid
every
in the
time.
beginning.
And it's, then.
Yeah, so what's the answer? You just keep telling the same stupid story until it's funny someday? Is that the strategy?
That's
for me, it's different. For me, it's like you switch up the story a bunch of times, and then the parts that work in the story, you take the good parts and put that together, and that doesn't work, so you cut out even more, and you use what you have, and then you try to build off that.
I don't know. I kind of I'll go with the story like that, and then I have to spend time. I try to know the tools. Like I have this story right now where I saw somebody do something, and then immediately one tool I have is it's always funnier It's funnier if it happened to you. I try to think, I try to tell it, but I'm always changing it around. For me, if it's like, I think the goal is to try to come off conversational, and for me, that's a hard thing to do. So I have to, if it's a brand new idea, I usually have to eat it for a month before I even have a concept. But now I've noticed I've gotten better. Like I have this one story I'm trying to tell right now about a Chinese restaurant, and I saw a guy do something to somebody else, but immediately my brain was like, oh no, it happened to me. It's not funny if it happened to that guy. So that's something that I think I've gotten better at, to where it's a tool. I don't know.
Do you guys go on stage doing drugs?
I like being high on stage, yeah. It definitely helps.
Do you do it?
If I know my material, and then if I know the material dead set, like I've done it where I've had weekends at clubs, and then the headliner's like, we're smoking, and I'm never going to say no. I'm always the guy that's like, well, I'm the host, so I'm not going to say no, and that's where I'm too nice. And then I've had a couple times where I've bombed horribly, but I've never had a bad time. And I've always, and my jokes have always been, this is my experience with weed. I've always find better tags, and then I always tell the joke a little bit. I just tell it better. Looser. I don't know. Yeah, looser. I'm having more fun. Alcohol is the exact opposite for me. So that's my alcohol. I just can't do it. But
I just think it would just make me sloppy. Because I'm already struggling as it is, right? So it's just like to add another obstacle just doesn't seem very productive. But I don't know.
Have you ever listened to your sets high and laughed at them? I think that's a good indicator. If you laugh at your own stuff high, I think that's a good
That's
thing.
why I asked, because I was kind of drunk when I was watching you in Pittsburgh, and I was like, oh, this is so much more fun to watch and hear jokes. I was like, maybe if I was high, if I was a little more high on stage, because I think there's less consequences when you get high, but if I was a little more high on stage and having fun with my own jokes, other people would be too. That's why I've been doing a lot more crowd work since I moved to New York City. It's because it's honestly just, it's more fun getting to know someone, kind of pick on someone and kind of do that. It's like I need to incorporate that into my bits where like I'm really having fun saying my bits.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm a little high, they'll be more fun to say.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
think
I'm gonna try it.
I don't think you should be high all the time. I once met a comic who was going up at a show. He was headlining, and I was like, "How you doing, dude?" And he was like, "Dude, this is the first time I won't be high in 10 years." And I was like,
Whoa.
Jeez, I mean, I
bet he did horrible.
Yeah, no, he killed because he was a vet. But I'm not for. I think you should do everything in moderation, and that's
God,
whatever.
I think it's everything in moderation.
I don't think you
So
should
I gotta get
definitely-
more high because I never get high on stage.
Yeah,
right?
I think you should
gotta
test
make it a
I
moderate
mean,
thing.
yeah, in my opinion, it's. I once saw comics go up on mushrooms, and that may have been some of the best sets I've ever seen in my life.
A comic did that last night.
Yeah.
that we had.
Yeah, I've
She
seen.
was microdosing.
I've seen comics. But I've seen some comics go up high out of their mind, and I'm like, I actually know comics who have big time specials who are high in them,
Really?
Oh yeah.
and
Just off weed, you mean?
yeah, just weed, and I'll talk to them, and they'll be like, because they film 2 hours, and then they'll cut up the best, and he's like, that's 90% me high, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. 90%.
And but I don't know. I think
Well, I mean, for those kinds of specials, they've done, like you said,
yeah,
you've
they've done
the
it
material.
so there's no loss.
Right,
You know, I think that's for me. I haven't. I've done it a few times at mics where I go up and then, if it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's your preference, but I don't think either way you should always be like a guy, Rory Scovel. I love Rory Scovel. I think everybody, even if you love or hate Joe Rogan, he's big time in comedy. They're both
him, yeah.
big, weed advocates, but I don't think they're high on stage all the time.
Right.
I think Joe is.
He could be.
But they gotta have a huge tolerance. So like when they smoke, their high isn't like our high. Because when I get high, it's like apocalypse in my brain.
Which I would imagine wouldn't be good for comedy.
Yeah.
But it's weird that you're saying some people on mushrooms do well.
I've seen some comics go up with, but it's the same thing. It's their feature set. They know it, blah, blah, blah.
Got it.
But I've been in a green room where they're sipping the mushroom tea.
What the fuck?
And then they go on stage and I watch them and I'm like, okay, I'm smoking weed, but this is like really funny. And then I'll go back in the green room and they're like, dude, that was the best set of my life. And then,
That's awesome.
so I think but some people alcohol and some people sober is key. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's a treat. That's what I would say. I never rely on it, but usually when I smoke it, I'm like, this is going to be fun. But I think it takes, like, have you guys ever been to the gym high?
I think maybe once.
I went through phases of always working out high, but in the beginning, the first few times, I'd say the first 6 or 7, I was like, you do the classic kind of, I'd be on the bench like, negative about my life. Like, I'm a bad son. I should call my mom more. And I was like, weeds, no, but I just finally pushed through. And then, you're finally like, oh, I'm doing 20 pull-ups. I don't even notice because I'm into the song. So I think,
that's great.
If you get to that point with your material, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I just added a tag because I was having fun in the moment. I don't know.
No, the fun thing, I think there's definitely something to that because, especially of late, like I watch my sets, I'm just like, dude, of course no one's laughing. Like you're not.
You're not
in it. You don't care. You don't even want to be up there. What are you doing?
When you don't want to be up there, you're like, son of a bitch.
And they can just smell it on you. Like, this motherfucker's miserable up here. What's going on? You okay, dude? Like, it's one of those. So, you gotta feel the material. So, I don't know. I gotta fall back in love with this shit.
Yes, it's very weird making yourself fall back in love.
What do you love right now?
What do I love right now? Ugh.
You got a girlfriend, so
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I just want to use.
You got FIFA.
I got FIFA, but I'm starting to hate FIFA because like I just keep fucking losing at the last second every fucking game.
You play live?
Yeah, I play online. So I'm always either ahead 2 goals and I fucking end up losing to a tie in the 90th minute, or the fucker scores a goal in the last minute and then I get relegated. So
damn.
It's actually FIFA's a perfect metaphor for comedy because like you start out, you're horrendous at the game. You're like, dude, this is hard. Comedy's hard. FIFA's hard. You play. I'm logging hours into this game. Finally, I'm like upgrading from Division 10 to Division. I got all the way to Division 5.
Yeah.
But I keep getting relegated back down because if you don't get enough points within the season, 10 games, Do you guys know how soccer works in general? Like 3 points for a victory, 1 point for a tie.
Yeah, I call
0
it football,
points for
dude.
What's that?
I call it football.
Football, yeah.
What was this one?
Damn, son, where'd you find this? So I have to score at least 8 to 10 points per season of 10 games to advance to just stay in that
Okay.
division.
Okay.
But if I get below those points, I go back down. So like I've been hovering between 6, 7, and 5
Okay.
for the past few months, and I just can't get to.
Oh, that is a good
4.
metaphor. Yeah, you're
So
like,
I'm
I
just like,
just
dude,
want-
some of these motherfuckers at Division 1, how are they even doing
Yeah.
that? And I'm like, I'm better than all my friends. Like I crush my friends, except one. He's like really good at it. But everyone that's ever played me in my house, this is my house. I win every time. It's like that's my level of funny. Is like I'm funny enough for Division 6. but
Yeah.
I cannot fucking break through to Division 5 and 4.
Dude, you gotta move to Brazil.
Yeah, that's the
Just
Mecca
goes
right
out.
there.
Yeah,
You're in the
yeah.
wrong town.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. So it's like
You should
Yeah,
write about
breaking
that. You
through
should
is
write about
weird.
that stuff.
do you
You know,
mean?
the stuff that you're hating right now. How it's so tough
that I
to
hate.
break through. Maybe just write about it and use different analogies. How do you write? How do you do? What's your process?
So
of writing?
my phone is my notebook app. I just type in a funny thought, and then I'm trying to think of when I wrote I did this. I did karate, and having a lot of money is like being a black belt in karate.
Yeah.
It's like if you just pull it out at random times, it's kind of a douche move. Like you can't just be walking around town, doing
Oh my God,
singles.
that's a great one.
And you can't just like walk around the supermarket doing high kicks, right?
Yeah.
But when you need it, it's nice to do.
Yeah.
Could you imagine someone's like, you're just in the middle of the street and you just see someone go, "Aw," just doing karate, and they're like, "Yeah, this is out of place." Like,
Yeah, right. What's this douche doing over
having money, like going to an open mic or something and just getting on wads of 100. It's like,
there? So that's
good
I tried
analogy.
that 2 days ago. Wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah. No, not that one. It was just. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. And then you're just sitting there be like, is this just me being a douche with money, or is this just not funny? Like, which one?
Yeah, that's the way you have to develop that quote unquote mic ear where you're like, no, because I have material that in my opinion, I'm like, no, this is on paper funny. And I know if I've done it at other shows where, like, let's just say a mic versus our show.
Yeah.
And no matter what, it will always bomb at the mics. And then I'll bring it to a show where people are happy. And I'm like, it at least gets chuckles.
Right,
like, at least,
right.
it's not.
See, that's what it goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. I've learned at least that.
Yeah.
From Division 8 to 7, I learned.
Yeah, you learn-
that, like, as long as I get a couple good jokes early, I could test some newish stuff that I've never tried before. But
Yeah.
because I've established myself as this guy you can trust to make you laugh somewhat, they'll go along with it, even if it's not as good.
Yeah.
I think I find that sometimes.
sure,
But
for sure.
just like you said, you get the chuckles, but I'm like, fuck, man, I want those kills.
Yeah, you
I'm
want
tired
the
of these
kills
chuckles.
so bad.
I want Division 4.
But that could also
Yeah.
depend on, it depends on, I think,
where you are. If you're at a club that's packed,
Well, I
that's
don't
hot
even-
room, your jokes are gonna be
I
fire.
think it's even sticking with developing the joke. A lot of people, the thing that's blown me away is comics that I really love here that aren't famous, but like on the local scene that are just like, they're recording their albums at clubs or they're in at the cellar, but no, they're not like famous. Sometimes I'll hear some of them like, yeah, I got to run a joke. You hear Mark Norman running a joke for a year and it's bombing until like a year. And he's like, I got it. And then I hear comics that I love that are like, I give a joke 3 tries and then I give up. And I hear their album and I'm like, oh my God, this is gold. So it's crazy.
Thank you.
Who knows if the kill is in, yeah, I love your album. What's it called?
Yeah. It's gay.
Exposed!
Yeah, exposed.
Exposed. Oh, it's called Hack. Exposed.
No, there already is a Netflix thing. There's a Netflix thing, The Great Hack. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Charles Ingalls stars in it.
That's what
Is
a
it
hack
time for
would
the
say.
freestyle comedy part of the podcast?
Yeah.
That's great.
Jesus Christ.
The Hunt for the Kill. Ooh, that's a good title.
The Hunt for the Kill.
Which one? We haven't played this one.
Hey.
No, we played that one.
I think we played all of them, right?
Which one haven't we done? This one didn't get a lot of love. You know shit. And the applause. We can end on that one.
You need it triggered. You always
Triggered.
have that on your Instagram.
Yeah, Mark Norman would be tight at that.
Yeah.
He's at his prime right now, dude. Mark
Yeah,
Norman.
he's killing it right
Oh,
now.
geez Louise.
But every time I've seen him, Granted, I've come in and out of like either he's just getting off or just got on. I think I've only seen him do one live set.
Yeah.
But it's always the same jokes. So
Yeah.
I like know his stuff now, which is fine. I mean, he's killing.
That's the thing
it.
is like, he'll run it for like a year.
So much,
And that's the thing I question. I think that's one thing you have to know, at least in comedy, just to know. Because Joe List, they have a podcast together, and Joe has said, he's like, I can't do it like you do it, man. Like I just need to take time and like take a break and then come back to this, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's a key.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You got any jokes you want to cook in here?
Any jokes?
Yeah. I think that would be a fun segment to have, kind of like
some
does,
ideas, the inside jokes.
Yeah,
It's a great idea.
He does the inside jokes with like flagrant material. Like this is a really touchy subject that let's try to make it funny.
Yeah.
For me, I want it to be more like when I bring comedians on, it's like, hey, let's just brainstorm jokes that suck right now, and let's see if we can help each other.
Jokes that suck?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean,
or even just a joke that's doing okay for you right now, but like you want to get it better. Like
I have one. Maybe you guys can help me on this. There's a joke that I've said it 3 times on stage, and I actually said it last night too, and it was the biggest pop that I got, but I don't know how to add on to it.
Okay.
I can't say. I talk about how I got my first boner. My teacher walks into the classroom, and her dress gets caught on the door handle. So her boobs just come out, and I yell out like any 6th grader would do. I yell out, "Milk jugs," and the whole class laughs. And then she was so rattled and embarrassed that she goes up to me and goes, "If you weren't my student, I would choke you out unconscious." And I go, and that's when I got my first boner. And then the whole crowd goes nuts. But then I don't know what to add after that.
Let's see, what would I do?
Like, what do I say? It's like, then I talk about fetishes, or I talk about, what else happened in that classroom, or like, I guess I do need to write more, but like, what was your guys' first reaction?
Or you could stay in the moment and say something back, because she said something to you. You got your boner, but that means the dialogue is still open. So you could still stay in that. You created a scene at least. Yeah. So do you want to still live in it, or do you want to end the scene after the punchline?
Maybe I got to try it on stage. What's funnier?
Yeah. So my brain goes to, and I haven't been able to watch porn since, or like something to the effect of kind of like what you're saying. Like now the conversation's open, so responding back with like, so you want to get out of here? Like,
you could say, or you could be like, promise, or whatever the hell. Or like I think the way if you're thinking scene, I try to do, and I haven't been doing this lately, but one of my tactics is if I'm just trying to tag, like, so you got a punchline and now you're just specifically thinking like, I just want to see if I can get tags. I try to do 10 bullet points of tags. Like you can say like, you want to get out of here? Promise? Can you pull my hair too? And like usually at the 8th or 9th, you're like, I think I have an idea. So maybe you could do
like she would. Yeah. So for example, I would just use dialogue with that. Like, so
that's
I'd
one.
say like, she would be like, do you understand? I go like, I'd say something like, promise or something.
Yeah.
And then I'd go into like, all right, you're in detention. I'd be like, yes, or something. Like,
please hold me down. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about is relating it to that happened to you, and then for the rest of your life, you get furious every time a report comes out that a chick fucked the student.
Yeah.
You're like, that could have been me. Something like that.
Or like, congratulations.
Okay. So ever since that moment, every time I hear in the news a kid got, fucked by his student, I sent him a postcard.
I sent him a postcard.
It's like, good job, buddy. Yeah, something like that.
There was one thing I have a little story where I'm working out right now, but it's not the one I'll talk about. But I try to explain. I have a note what a boner feels like to people who can't get boners, whether that's women, they, that, them, whoever, whatever the pronoun. But I think it kind of feels like popping a wheelie on a bike. It's just good. Yeah, it does. It just feels like popping a wheelie.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it too, right?
Yeah.
Crotch
going up.
Yeah. I can't think of what to add to that. Other than like an act out where like you. Yeah, popping a wheel is kind of like popping a boner, but it would be 2 boners.
Yeah. Except, I
mean, you could go into, if you want to keep it kind of speculating about your past, you can kind of go into, that's also the age of, that's when you get random boners in class. And for me,
what's funny to me, if someone sees you popping a wheelie, it's like the same as seeing a boner. You're like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh my God, like he's using no hands? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
Yeah. And Yeah, something like that. It depends on, I guess, which way you want to take it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not my idea, so I'm struggling for you here.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I had a random boner.
Are there pegs on that boner? Like I'm trying to just use it now.
Hey, the wheelie joke's mine, so you can add to it, and you can't use it.
No, I'm not.
I know, I'm just kidding around.
Maybe a friction line.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get boners? I was the kid who got boners 5 minutes before class ended. I always got them right before. And one time the teacher called me up, and I had a boner in front of everybody. It was bad.
I always got them consistently in the passenger seat as my dad drove me to school every morning. I would just get this.
I would get those too, yeah.
Which is so stupid because it was the last place I was excited to go. So it's like, why am I getting this boner? Right? So maybe you could work that into the situation. Be like, predate that premise with a shitty place you were going to or something, and then be like, what a time to get a fucking boner.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's another idea.
Yeah. There's a lot more. I got to start talking to more people about bits.
Talking helps a lot.
Yeah, podcast, dude. Having a podcast and like actually talking about things helps with material so much. And you find your voice more.
Yeah, I've come up with a couple of bits that I've used from podcast conversations where like the producers in the back laughing. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was that funny.
You know, it's weird. You get that sort of butterfly net when someone else laughs, and you're like, I'm going to go ahead and use that on stage.
Log that away?
Yeah.
What time is it? I don't know. My phone's off.
It's 1:44, sir.
Okay. I should probably go soon.
Yeah, you want to wrap this up? All right.
Yeah.
We get it. You want to get the fuck out of here. Any other things you guys wanted to bring up?
I have a premise, and you guys can tell me if you just relate to this premise, because I wanted to. I was thinking about the hardest time I've ever laughed in my life, and it's usually when a good friend of mine gets hurt. I laugh a lot hard, especially if they don't know they're okay. Like I've seen my friends get hit. When we went to Thailand, we rented Vespas, and I saw a couple of my friends get hit by cars. Hilarious. And one time, usually I have friends that are like, I bet you can't do that. And I'm like, that's stupid. And then I'm like, you do it. And then I'm like, fine. And then they end up just like getting the wind knocked out of them. But I don't know. That's the premise. So I want to see if that's funny.
Yeah, it's, that's an irony, right? When someone you love and you care about, and then you see them get hurt and you laugh at it. I think that's great. It's a good stuff.
I just think, like, have you ever seen somebody fall in public and you're like, that's funny? But if that person's your best friend, you're like,
funny.
yeah. But if it's your best friend, you're like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
True.
So
how do you make that funny? I don't know.
I don't know. That's where something I'm going to have to, I kind of want to, this sounds hacky, but I kind of want to see if I can keep the broad thoughts first instead of, I think the traditional, instead of the Oreo, you're like, have you ever noticed this? And then that's the first part of the Oreo. Then the cream is I was at the store the other day, and then you're plugging the story, and then the second cookie is the end, right? That's usually a comedic formula. Like, I'm half, whatever. I want to see if I can maybe just stay broad and get people laughing at the broad thoughts as long as I can. Because I think my brain is traditionally always like, that formula. Have you ever noticed this? This happened to me. And then I thought this. And then, you know what I mean? I want to see if I can just...
Well, couldn't you just do that, but just stay in it?
I think stay in it is what way?
Like a triple, quadruple stacked Oreo but it's all the same cookie. It's all the same dessert. So like you start with the thing, cream, cookie, cream, cookie, cream, and you just...
Yeah, just a little like in Gaffigan, kind of, right? Like Gaffigan will take a topic and just strip it apart.
And he'll actually talk about cookies.
Like, yeah.
Like 15
But he
minutes.
stays broad in a way where it's like I'm laughing at the broad where he's like, I don't know, wherever he's like, bacon tastes better with bacon. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's funny. And then he'll go and be like, I'm fat. You're right. I think he kind of... It's like when you order Cold Stone Creamery and they mix everything in. You see him just putting everything in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, because at least that's what it sounds like you're describing to me. It's like you want one long, not story, but like one long monologue of one topic, and you're just trying to make sure it has enough of this going on, so it's not a big boring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like those I like people that have 5-minute bits on one topic, like Roy Wood, Andrew Schultz, like Bill Burr. Yeah, the people that can do that, that's the comedy where I watch, and I'm like, that's where I smile the biggest. Yeah. I noticed I'm like, my cheeks are hurting.
Right. I kind of can do that with my medical stuff if I just string a bunch of medical topics together, but they're still all separate jokes.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people do, though. A lot of comics do that, where they have these little bits and they combine them together. They just do one little transition that's something similar to that.
Yeah, that's something I need to get better at, is like noticing the pegs. Like I don't like right now I'm still in that stage of I'm just like watching and I'm like, okay, did my brain think that was funny or not?
Yeah.
That's it, on or off. It's not thinking, oh, I see like the Sam Morril thing where he's like, okay, I saw how he put that piece there and that piece there and I see the Rubik's Cube. I want to get better at seeing the Rubik's Cube because then I could hack that better for myself.
You know, that's the one thing, in comedy, you're like, I know how to do it if I saw the blueprint.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that is a little different for comedies. You kind of have to see people's blueprint on your own. You have to see how they're doing it. Like, Sam Morril, you can or you watch Norman enough. You're like, I can't be Norman, but it's so crystal clear that I can see how he did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
Comedy.
I'm trying to. Before we wrap up here, I'm trying to think of something to add for your cookie here.
I don't know. I want to see if I can hook
cream.
people, I guess, with premises and stuff like that. And I have one premise that I think it's just something that annoys me is I'm sick of The Rock being the hero in every movie.
No.
I would honestly rather watch a movie of him having a bad day. And that's just what I really think. It's stupid and silly, but I think if
but that's where you start, right? And then now you come up with hilarious bad days for him.
Yeah, you could do an example and plug stuff
Countless
like that.
examples.
Yeah, a lot of examples. Then just see which funniest,
Right,
and then
right. So maybe that goes back to what you were saying earlier, right? 10 bullet points, and then by the 10th one, you're back.
Yeah, that's one where I have one like, oh, maybe he's audited by the IRS, or Kevin Hart's cheating on him with his whatever. And then the tagline could be, rock bottom in theater.
Ooh, that's good. I was also going to say a bunch of tags along the way are just like, he's got so many catchphrases, you just plug him into each funny scenario. So like, do you smell what The Rock has cooking? And like, it's him having a bad day cooking a shitty meal or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't ever fucking mess with The Rock. He's fucking mad, dude.
That guy.
He has a lot of great followers. I mean, people love The Rock.
Of course.
I mean, if he
that's why I think it'd be fun to make a joke about
for
it.
sure. Yeah, you're right. If he actually ran for president, I think he'd get a big chunk.
Probably. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you're remembering? Oh, you said for the cookie. Would you have a premise or anything you wanted to plug?
Let's
The
try.
haircut, I guess you said that one.
So that one's still a struggle. But let's see, what's another recent idea I wrote down that we could try here? I would pull up my phone, but it's filming. Let's do, what is something I wrote down recently?
Karate was good.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks for
Where it's just
laughing,
like-
guys.
Yeah, I do think that one is good.
But I think, you know what I really like about that one now is like there's opportunity for act out with the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's so
Kicks and
funny.
stuff,
If
yeah.
someone does karate when you're not supposed to do karate,
Yeah.
like what?
Well, you see
maybe
those
I
people
should-
in the park, and you're like,
Yeah.
shut up. Yeah, what a
Right.
douche.
Yeah,
Even
and-
on stage, it's just so funny.
Yeah, and
to
I think
see
what I'll do
someone-
is I'll bring like maybe even just stacks of pieces of paper, just make it rain,
Yeah.
just to be an asshole.
When is prop comedy coming back? It's actually funny. I mean, there's a reason why I was successful. It's like no one does anymore because it's like frowned upon. But if someone can make it funny again, I think it'd be big.
Dude, I don't understand why more comics don't use more tools. I know a lot of people are fucking purists about it, but it's like, why?
Yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, you
that's-
just want to laugh.
I
Guitar.
agree.
People use guitar, and those are
Guitar,
so
PowerPoint
funny.
presentations.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Aparna had that PowerPoint presentation. You're like, oh, this is really funny. I think that's the whole, that's another trap, the quicksand of being like, I'm a purist. And it's like, oh, do you mean
Yeah.
you're bad? Like, it's like, I think it's that one way of thinking. And sure, I think the best comics are, maybe. you know,
I'll respect the guy that can make me laugh without anything except
Yes,
the microphone.
of
I respect
course.
it, but like,
I'm not gonna I'm sick of the whole like I immediately hate you because and you see someone show up at a mic with a guitar and I think everybody's initial response is like, oh fuck this guy, and it's like, why? We're doing the same thing.
Right. I kind of wish I could play guitar
Yeah.
so I could have that as an extra skill set. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. One last premise and then we'll wrap this up. Fuck, what did I write recently? God damn it. Actually, I have my other phone.
I'll tell you one that's not working.
Okay.
I talk about, I go addiction. I go like, oh man, this year I lost 3 friends to addiction, 2 from Game of Thrones, 1 from Fortnite. And like that always just gets like a,
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
no one wants to talk
anyway,
about
no, I'm
it.
kidding.
Yeah, asshole. I was like,
I'm kidding.
get out of here, dude. Okay, what's yours?
All right. So I was walking the other day to this mic, actually, and on my way, the escalator was broken.
Uh-huh.
And instead of using it it just had a blocked sign that said, go use the stairs on the other opposite end of the hallway. I was like, dude, Mitch Hedberg's got to be rolling in his grave right now.
Yeah,
like, this is, what are we doing here? So, like, that's the funny idea.
Do enough people know Mitch Hedberg?
That's the thing. We'll find out. Definitely at a mic they will. But again, even if whether they did or they didn't, like, it's obviously not good enough on its own. Like, it needs more. So I don't know where else I would take that. You know, what's the cream and the cookies to this one? I don't know.
I think the cream and the cookie, is essentially the Mitch Hedberg joke. That was so. What do you go? You can't do the Mitch Hedberg joke, but what do you really?
Well, to be honest, the Mitch Hedberg mention is more just as a callback to like, hey, remember this classic comedian?
Yeah, no, I think that part is good, but I think the is like you want to be, you're pissed because it's the same premise. Like it's like these are stairs, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So it's like, other than saying these are stairs, dummies, like, I got nothing more to add to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if maybe that's the thing. You do a comparison of something else that's broken and just as usable. Like,
oh yeah, maybe you could relate it to something like that. Like,
I'm trying to think what's usable, even broken. Sport? No.
I mean, I guess a rock, a hammer.
How would a rock be broken?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, it's still usable. It's like,
or maybe the joke is like you just try to think of a comparison on stage for 5 minutes and just don't.
that is one thing I see some
that's where
headliners
writing
do
comes
is
in.
acting dumb and acting funny, acting silly. I think New York has a ton of comedians, but I think stereotypically it's known for like smart, cunning, clever writing. And it's like, that's great, but you can be silly too.
there's not a lot of performers.
Yeah, I want to be more of a performer because that's more my lane as far as just being wacky. I was telling you, it's just being goofy and like
being
just
goof.
using my body, using my faces, like using all that shit.
There's a reason why there's so many people who love Chris D'Elia. Okay, he's so goofy on stage, he's moving around, and there's a reason why comedians are like, I don't find Chris D'Elia funny, because they just like people who are like at the, in quotes, purest.
Right. Yeah. So my lane is, my taste is definitely more the Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Chris D'Elia type stuff. Although I don't think he does it nearly as well as those other guys. I mean, those guys are legends, so it's a whole different thing. Plus, he's doing more stand-up with it than the other guys. Those other guys are more comedic actors, which is a great lane, I think, anyway. But I mean, there's definitely something to the fucking craft of writing, which is just hard. It just fucking sucks, man. You can't even think of a fucking comparison of something that doesn't work.
Anybody's listening, it's like, are these guys even comics? They can't think of one thing
it's gotta be something.
that's fine.
Actually, whoever's watching this or is listening to this, or definitely watching, leave a comment. If you can think of a good tag for this, I will definitely use it.
I mean, you got the avenue. That's the whole thing. Because if you think about you'll think about it like on the way to the gym, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Oof.
Can a painting be broken?
Or not even broken, but like it's not working. Maybe something that you need to plug in, but even if you didn't plug it in, it would still work. Mm-hmm. Like a rotary phone? No. I don't know. I'm sure we'll think
Everything
of something.
I'm thinking about is not really that broken, you know? Like,
and even if we were to think of something, how funny could it possibly be comparing it to non-working stairs? Like maybe it's just
I think it'd have to be so relatable. Because it had to be, I think, if you capture a thought, like just like that, because your same thought is escalators, if they're broken, they're stairs. If you grab, people are like, of course, yes. Why would you roll that? I think if you capture that same relatable, you can get a laugh from that, you know? Like a so true. You know, people say that. People say that in the crowd all the time. So true.
Or
so me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe the direction is to like really take it left.
Yeah.
It's like instead of a perfect comparison, it's like hitting some kind of guts, like, tell that to my bitch wife or something. I don't know. You see how you were just like, whoa. It's like something like that, you know?
These escalators are broken. Tell that to my bitch wife. She's already up them.
Dude,
hey, bitch, get down. They said they're broken. I'm trying to think. There's your joke, dude.
Or
all
maybe
right.
she's the one responsible for the fucking shitty ass sign
You
she put
see
up.
him, you're like, that must have been my bitch wife.
Dumb bitch.
Broke these off.
You piece of shit. But I tend to find a love-hate relationship with the word bitch when I use it, because like, it either gets chuckles or like it's,
people tighten up hard.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there a fix for that, you guys think?
I found one that actually, it's an ear joke, where I just I don't actually call myself a bitch, but I go like, pretty much the punchline is like, bitch, I'm not twerking for myself. I say it's about dancing. And I haven't had any problems with it. People laugh at it. I
You
think it's just
have
how
a
I'm saying
kinder face than I do, I think.
Maybe that's
And a
it.
kinder voice. My
Well, and I
voice.
think if you say bitch wife, but
Yeah, my bitch wife.
this is like a broad bitch.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll try it. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
this
having
was
us.
dope. Yeah, go follow these guys. Plug your stuff again, where we can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. It's Brendan Gay, one word, BrendanGay. Check out my stuff. I'm coming out with this new web series, and it'll be on all available social media stuff you can listen to called Send It. Also, Funny Planet podcast is coming out as well. Look for those things starting in September.
Nice.
I'm Charles Ingle. Instagram is Charles_Ingle, ENGLE. I got a podcast that's awesome. It's called Please Send Nudes Podcast, or PSN, if you want to search any of those. And my comedy is on YouTube, so check it out.
Also, one more thing. We have a show every single Monday at the Bowery Electric. It's one of the best shows in New York City. It's fun. We have some of the best comics. Come on by. Just Google it, freestyle comedy. It's a fun show. We're doing The Stand on September 4th. The Stand Comedy
Yeah, that's
Club,
awesome,
so.
man. I'm happy for you guys. I
Yeah.
wish I was in town for it, but I will not be here. So.
Damn.
But is that going to be a regular thing, you think?
Yeah.
On The
I
Stand?
hope so.
I mean,
I think we're going to start with a monthly and
Yeah.
then see how
Oh,
it
okay.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, monthly at The Stand, weekly at the Bowery Electric, Mondays. Great show. Has its own Instagram handle, Freestyle Comedy Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So follow these guys, like and subscribe, leave a rating on the podcast app /Stitcher /whatever. It really helps grow this thing. And hope you had fun. Bye. Peace.